Section 18, Al-Mu'minun to Al-Furqan, verse 20. This section begins with Surah Al-Mu'minun. The surah begins with 10 verses summing up the nature of a believer. We are then given descriptions of creation to know the Creator. The surah then returns to the theme of the suffering of prophets at the hands of their people, giving some details of the rejection of Nuh, followed by a brief mention of Musa and Isa and his mother. This leads on to the unbelievers rejecting the final messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with proofs for existence of another life, which was one of the main points that the unbelievers rejected. The surah describes the moments of death of an unbeliever as they wish and beg to return to this world, but to no avail, and ends by speaking of the day of judgment as humanity is divided into believers and unbelievers, when nothing avails other than belief and good practice. We are even given a conversation that takes place with the unbelievers in hellfire. Then we move to Surah An-Nur, which interestingly speaks about different aspects of gender relationships. The surah was revealed in Medina and hence has many legal injunctions within it. The surah begins with punishments for the crimes of fornication, slander, and accusing wives of adultery, followed by a powerful defense of the innocence of our mother Aisha from the lies spread against her by the hypocrites. We then have some social etiquettes of visiting mentioned and the instruction to believing men and women to lower their gaze from looking at those forbidden of the opposite gender. Then comes the amazing verse of light. The light of Allah is that light which illuminates the heavens and earth. The parable of the light is a niche in which is to be found a lamp. The lamp is glass, but the glass is as though it is a shining star, which burns with blessed olive oil that is neither eastern nor western, as it is divine. There are so many layers to divine light, but He guides by that light people to know Him. The light of divine guidance is carried by men of Allah who worship in His houses. Nothing of this world diverts them from His remembrance, but for whoever Allah chooses not to bless with His light, darkness envelops him. This is followed by a description of the hypocrites who are deprived of this divine light, and as the surah draws to an end, some further social rules are introduced, followed by a final warning about hypocrites. The section ends with the beginning of Surah Al-Furqan, which is a surah that focuses on the Qur'an itself, Al-Furqan being one of the primary names of the Qur'an. The surah begins by dealing with a number of accusations leveled against the Qur'an and then moves on to describing the fate of such deniers on the Day of Judgment.